Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to another turkey pattern test video here. We've got another exciting one today because we're back out here again with the TRUGLO Gobble-Stopper Xtreme 665 constriction choke in the Remington 1187 Premier. But this TRUGLO Gobble-Stopper, for a budget choke, it was 30 bucks off the shelf, has performed fantastic so far. Really surprising with the Longbeard 5s. If you have not seen that video, I'll leave a card above for it. But this budget choke shot the Longbeard 5s really surprisingly well. So with that being said, I've brought out the Longbeard 6s, the 1 7/8 ounce load, the 3-inch 1050 feet per second Longbeards. They were highly requested to be seen through this choke to see what the 6s can do, and I want to see what the 6s can do as well, because I've ran the Longbeard 6s with a Kick 655 Goblin Thunder choke out of that gun for several years now, and these 6s seem to shoot great through that 1187. So I know we've got a good load here to put through it, and from what we've seen so far out of that $30 TRUGLO choke, I expect to see some pretty decent results out of these as well, but I'm really curious to see how they compare to the 5s. I hope they can perform as good as the 5s do, but if I had to take a guess now before shooting it, I think we're going to see some pretty good results out of these. So with that being said, as per usual, I've got the turkey target set up right over here at 40 yards from the bench. So let's head over there and see what these Longbeard 6s can do through this $30 TRUGLO 665 Gobble-Stopper Xtreme choke. Alright, so we're back at the bench at 40 yards. So let's run these Longbeard 6s through this TRUGLO 665 Gobble-Stopper Xtreme choke and see what they can do on the paper. Now, last time we shot this choke, it shot noticeably to the left. So I'm going to hold a little bit to the right, and hopefully we get a nice center shot out of this. But let's see what they can do on the paper. Alrighty, so this is what we got. Now of course, because I held a touch to the right, it just had to shoot point of aim and couldn't give us a nice center shot. But that's why you test with different loads and different chokes before you take them out in the woods. Because the 5s shot to the left, but the 6s shot pretty much dead on the money. But as for the pattern, there's definitely a pretty hot core just to the right of this bird. And it's a pretty even core. All the way from the edge of the bird's head, all the way off the edge of the actual turkey paper over here. But as you back up, you start to see some of these flyers down around the edges and around the outskirt edges of the paper. Now yes, these couple marks you see up here on the papers behind the one on top, they are part of this pattern. They were not there before. So it definitely shows signs of having some more flyers than the 5s did. But I'm not complaining too much for that core right there. That's a beautiful and even core across the middle. That will absolutely take you a turkey, no question about it right there. But as I said before, we do start to see some of these flyers around the edges here. Now, is that something to do with it being a number 6 load instead of a number 5? Yeah, potentially. Or it could just be a budget choke with a 665 constriction. Because I know these number 6 Longbeards shoot really well, really fantastic out of my Kick 655, which is much tighter. But if you want leeway, that's a beautiful core right there in the middle. I can't complain a whole lot about it. Yes, there are flyers, but it's not a terrible pattern whatsoever. Alright, well, what do y'all think about it? That's definitely a good pattern. It's absolutely a turkey killer. It's a good usable pattern at 40 yards. But we do start to see some of those flyers around the outside edge. Now, could it be the 6s? Could it be a budget choke? Could it be not quite enough constriction? It could be a combination of all three. But as for the core of that pattern, that's a beautifully even core across the middle there that still gives you enough leeway if you were to shoot them in nice and tight. I don't really have a whole ton to complain about that pattern. Yes, there are some flyers, but overall, for a budget load, a budget choke, that will absolutely take you a turkey any day of the week. No question about it. Now, as far as the TRUGLO choke itself, if I was to shoot longbeards out of it, I would probably go with the 5s from what I've seen so far. You do get a little bit less shot, but you also get less flyers around the outside edges of the pattern. So there's definitely a trade-off there, being less shot versus less flyers, depending on how you like to hunt, what kind of shell you like to shoot. If you're going to be field hunting or hunting them in close or anything of that nature, you may feel that the 6s are better or the 5s are better. For me personally, in this setup, from what we've seen so far, I would choose the 5s. But either the 5s or the 6s are a fantastic option, it seems, out of this choke. But either way, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think about this. Was it impressive for a $30 budget choke? Or would you like to see those flyers condensed a little bit better? But on that note, I've got a few more pattern tests to film out here before the sun starts going down over the trees. So I'm going to get back to it. So I'll see y'all in the next one.